You're now listening to Clive Mullings Talk with Substance on Hotline. Radio Jamaica, active for the good of our nation.
Okay, welcome back. And it's now Sygnus Tax 101 time. And we have joining us this morning Mr. Denzil Whyte, Managing Director of Sygnus Tax Advisory Limited. Good morning, Mr. Whyte. How are you?
Good morning, Clive. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Your listeners.
Yes, and of course, as usual, here to give us the kind of advice that, truth be told, it's technical, but important, yes?
Absolutely.
So what's your focus today?
Today we want to focus on emoluments and the taxation and obligations of taxable emoluments.
Okay. So why are emoluments so exhaustive, what are the implications?
Okay. So I want to start with some definitions,
okay.
Because we need to be clear about what we're talking about.
Yes.
So the Income Tax Act defines emoluments as, to the extent that it relates to employment, all salaries, fees, wages, all provisions, Clive, or payments, as the case may be, in respect of living accommodation, entertainment, utilities, domestic, and the bigger one is where it says, and other benefits, perquisites, and facilities whatsoever.
Okay, whatsoever.
Yeah, So how exhaustive is that?
Yes. Well, that is wide. So, how important is it? How can you identify, in terms of all of this now, to the employer or who is supposed to be deemed the employer? What are some of the things you look for,
Okay. So you mentioned employer or deemed employer.
Right.
It's very important for you to understand as an employer whether you would be considered an employer in relation to a particular arrangement that you have. And you can have arrangements in which you're talking about a contract between your company and another company, even where the contract relates to somebody who is charging you GCT, and simply because of the circumstances of the arrangement, that may be regarded or deemed to be an employment relationship for tax purposes.
Oh, really? Yes.
Absolutely. Let me give you an example. The Income Tax Act will deem an arrangement an employment arrangement, even if it's a contract for service, which is typically contract work, right? Even if it is between companies, your company and another company.
Yeah.
If we're talking about personal services, meaning services that have to be rendered through the use of individuals or their intellectual efforts, and to the extent that arrangement causes you to have the right to supervise, direct, or control such a person.
Yeah.
So even if you, Clive, for example, set up a contract with somebody else to provide certain services, if that contract allows you to be supervised by someone else,
yes,
right, by the person you're providing the services to, that can create an obligation for that person to account for taxes on emoluments.
Oh, yes. And it's important information because persons think it's just a contract and that's it. Was much more than that.
It's absolutely much more than that.
I see.
We look at for example, we just spoke about a person or a contract being treated as a person being treated as a deemed employee. But there is also the case where a person may be treated as a deemed employer.
Okay.
Right? So you happen to be in the position where you are not in an employment contract with an individual, but for some reason you are the one making the payments to the individual. You may be making the payments on behalf of a connected party. The extent to which you are actually making the payment would actually place the employment tax obligations on you, as if you were the actual employer.
I see. Yes.
These employment obligations can be a lot.
Yes, clearly. And you know, which is why it's so very important to go to the experts to get the kind of guidance and Sygnus clearly. The advisory service, it really is up to speed with the Income Tax Act and other things in relation to not just personal but corporate taxes and so on. Is there anything else you'd like to share though?
Yeah, I'd like to share some of the obligations of an employer.
Sure.
That come to bear. So if you're an employer out there, these are some of the things that you would be required to do. You have a responsibility as an employer to calculate the taxes that are associated with employment. The taxes are the statutory contributions, and it goes beyond just calculating it, because even where the taxes are supposed to be borne by the employee, you have a responsibility as an employer to take that amount out of the payment you're making to the employee. And you have to monthly provide a report to the tax authorities by the 14th of the following month to say what happened in relation to employment within your organization, how much persons you employed, and how much you paid to them, and what the tax obligations would be. You have to go a step further than just giving them a report. You have to make the payments over of the deductions, or even your employer contributions to the tax authorities by the same 14th of the month following the payment. Beyond the monthly accounting, you have to do an annual return to TAJ about all the employees, their information, their TRN, their NIS number, the income paid to them, the weeks of their employment, and all the taxes, again, now calculated annually rather than just monthly. Or bi-weekly or fortnightly, as the case might be. You further have a responsibility as an employer to provide a pay slip to each employee each time you actually make a payment to them. You have a responsibility to do an annual P24 to these employees. And a P24 is really just saying, in the same way you provided a report to the tax authorities to say what happened during the year, the P24 is something between you, the employer, and the employee to say, this is what happened during the year in terms of your emoluments and the taxes. You have to provide a P45 to any employee who leaves during the year, right? And pretty much that is a shortened version, if you will, of the P24. It's just covering the period that the person was with you during the year in question. And when we're talking about year for emoluments, we're really talking about January to December, and not our own fiscal period of reporting.
Okay, yes. Wow, it's a lot. What is the Sygnus Tax Tip for the day, though?
Clive, the tip for today, the Sygnus Tax 101 tip for today is that you cannot contract away or sign away your obligations as an employer in relation to employment taxes.
Okay, yes.
I've come across it so many times when persons present the paper and the signature of the the other party that they're putting forward as a contractor and not an employee. And they put the paper forward and they say, see there, the person signed to say he is responsible for his own taxes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that contract that is between you and the other party cannot supersede the provisions in the law.
Yes.
Law of the land.
Yes.
So, irrespective of what is in that contract, if the law places an obligation on you as an employer to not only pay taxes, but to deduct taxes from that person.
Yes.
And even if it's a deemed situation, you cannot contract it away because the force of the law is greater than the force of your contract.
Absolutely. You cannot contract out of it. Correct.
No, you can't.
Yes.
You can't.
How can we contact you?
So the Sygnus Tax team includes tax specialists, accounting specialists, attorneys at law, and we are available for your service and can be reached through telephone 876-634-5016, or you can reach us by email at stateam@sygnusgroup.com. You can reach us on our website, sygnusgroup.com. You'll find a page for tax, and we have some managers that I'd just like to give them a call out or a shout out.
Sure.
We have Shade Byfield O'Connor, who is not only a tax manager but legal counsel, and we have Jubel Hay, who is a vice president and also an attorney at your service, and he can be reached at 876-499-0388. We're here to help you, so just give us a call.
Absolutely.
I'd also like to add, though, Clive, that we are inviting persons. If you're particularly interested in any topic, let us know. We want to speak to what you're interested in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. A lot of valuable information there. Mr. Denzil Whyte, Managing Director of Sygnus Tax Advisory Ltd. And that was Sygnus Tax 101. Thank you ever so much. All the best.
All right. Take care, Clive. Have a great day.
Tune in to Sygnus Tax 101 and stay in the know on tax planning opportunities for companies, finance managers, directors, and entrepreneurs with tax expert Denzil Whyte, Vice President and Head of Tax Advisory at Sygnus Group, during the hotline on alternate Mondays at 10:15 a.m. That's Sygnus Tax 101, brought to you by Sygnus Tax Advisory Ltd, one of the Caribbean's leading full-service tax solutions firm, a member of the Sygnus Group of companies.